Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you may happen to be and when you may happen to be listening to this. My name is Rabbi Mendelson. I'm coming to you straight from Project Tanakh in sunny, beautiful Miami. Our objective is to help people learn the Tanakh. Tanakh is an acronym in Hebrew for the Bible, the Jewish Bible. And part of what we're doing is our website, www.projecttanakh.org. And another part of what we're doing is featuring these classes on a YouTube channel, Project Tanakh, and we will make these classes available on our website. Our ultimate goal, which seems quite daunting, is to feature classes of the entire Bible, which is quite a large undertaking. But the only way to reach a large undertaking is by going one step at a time. If you don't begin, you can't possibly expect to finish, and we are going to be starting with the book of 1 Samuel. Just as a side note, Samuel is preceded in the books of the Bible by the book of Judges and is followed by the book of Kings. Now, the fact that we have 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, two separate books, in Hebrew they're known as Shmuel Aleph and Shmuel Bet, is really a random division. It's a division that was probably made by typesetters for the sake of convenience. There's no 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, there's no 1 Kings and 2 Kings, and there's really no such thing as 1 Chronicles and 2 Chronicles. The fact is that Samuel is one complete book in and of itself. Yet we find something strange. We find that in the middle, near the end of the book of 1 Samuel, or what we call 1 Samuel, Samuel passes away. Now, why is this entire book called in his name? The reason, or one of the reasons, is because Samuel was the cause. He actually brought about everything else that happened in his book. As I mentioned previously, the book of Samuel was preceded by the book of Judges, and Samuel was the last of the judges of Israel, the last of the judges of the Jewish people. Now, judges were a very important group. They helped to transmit the law, the Torah, as it was given to Moses at Mount Sinai, and they were our leadership. Yet the book of Judges ends with Bayamim Hahem Ein Melech B'Yisrael. During those days there was no king in Israel. Ish hayashar be'enav ya'aseh. Each person would do what was fitting in his own eyes. They didn't really have strong enough leadership. They didn't really have enough power to keep the people going on the right track. And following the book of Samuel is the book of Kings. Now, Samuel was the last of the judges and the first one that anointed the first 2 kings of Israel. King Saul was the first king, and Samuel anointed King Saul at God Almighty's behest. And after King Saul lost the role of king, he anointed King David, who ultimately became the king of all of the Jewish people. And as we all probably know, his descendant will be the king of Israel during the time of the Messiah, during the time of Mashiach, of our Redeemer, who will take us out of this exile and return all of the Jewish people, restore us to our homeland, to Israel. Now, the fact of the matter is that if you count the books of the Bible, there are only 24. Okay, if we add in the book of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuels and 1 Chronicle and 2 Chronicles, it would seem that there are a few more prophets. Yet, we know the Talmud, the sages of the Talmud tell us that there were absolutely millions of prophets. It was double the number of people that left Egypt. And the number of people that left Egypt were several million. Why do we have so few prophets written about in the Bible? So the sages of the Talmud provide us with an answer to that question. The answer being that any prophecy which was needed for all generations, for all times, for all of us, was a prophecy that was written down. Any prophecy that was only needed for a particular time, place, person, was not written down. So everything that we find within the books of the prophets has to do with us. It may seem as if we're learning Jewish history, and that's true. That's all well and good, and that's a fine thing and an important thing to learn. It's important to learn history because Mark Twain once said that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes very well. Well, we know better. We know that history does repeat itself, and we have to learn from history not to make the same mistakes that we've made in the past, and to repeat the same good things that we've done in the past. Nonetheless, we have to realize, and the main point of our study has to be to change our lives in some way, to learn something from our studies in order to become better people. And it's my fervent hope and prayer that as a result of these classes, we will become the people that we can be, and will continue growing, and will ultimately be able to complete and bring about the complete and true redemption. Thank you very much.